Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and today we're going to be doing a May reset. So I really wanted to reset hard going into May because April was a bit of a slumpy life month for me. I let a lot of things go in my house. I really needed to clean up some clutter. Over here is still a bit of a mess, but I was going to show you some clips over the past week of me trying to get back in the productive mood because I haven't been in the reading mood, and I also haven't been in the keep up with everything mood, so I have just kind of been slumping across my life. But I'm going to show you those clips, and I'm also going to show you some of the things I've been doing what other than reading, such as like the things I've been listening to, the Switch games I've been playing, stuff like that, to kind of give you a sense of how my April went. But I just wanted to show you this to show you my productivity over the past week or so. And then at the end, we're going to talk about a few books that didn't make it into projects so that you can see what I read that outside of anything I've talked about already. So before we jump into that, I'm just going to go over a couple of stats from April. And the first is that I read 8 books, which is a little bit low for me. Like I said, I usually read between 10 and 15 things, and 8 is a little low, but I'm not unhappy with that. I just think I needed a bit of a break after working on so many projects for a while. I talked about this in my May TBR that I'm still trying to learn that balance between content and mood reading, and I didn't do it very well in April and sort of put myself in a bit of a slump. Then it was 1,457 pages or 89.2 hours of audio. So both of those are a little low for me, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not beating myself up about it. I just am giving you some stats. My top genre was romance, which is a little unusual, but I think after I read The Name of the Wind, I was in a slump, and then I used romance to get out of it. So those books definitely took over my life for the second half of April, which was very fun. I had a great time with it. I read 6 audiobooks, 1 print book, and 1 digital book. So it was a little bit spread out, but audio is still dominating everything in my life. And then I'm going to show you the graph for April of when I tracked when I read, because it's very funny, because I basically was either reading a lot on a day or I read nothing. So that's kind of how my April went as far as reading. Let's jump into the cleaning clips, and I'll see you on the other side to talk about some more books. I've also been using these resets to kind of mention any of my thoughts on books that are not in other content for the month. So for example, this month I read 6 books and I have 4 of them in content, so I'm not going to rehash everything there. So I read We Ride Upon Sticks and Daughter of the Moon Goddess for the vlog I did with Rainy, where we swapped books to see if we could trust each other's tastes and if we could pick recommendations for each other. I will have that linked down below if you want to check it out if you missed that earlier this month. And I also read Kindred and the Name of the Wind for a similar video that I did with Crystal, finding out if I can trust Crystal. This is part of the series that I am doing with a few other booktubers where we're going around and swapping books to see if we can trust them individually. So the only 2 remaining are At First Spite by Olivia Dade, and in this we are following Athena, who is engaged to Johnny and they are getting ready to get married, but then Johnny, her fiance, his brother Matthew gets in the way and Matthew breaks up the engagement. He convinces Johnny to call off the wedding. Athena has already purchased a home in between the brothers' homes in a very small town. The house is 10 feet wide and it is right smack dab in between the 2 brothers' homes. So Athena decides she is going to be the worst possible neighbor and aggravate the crap out of the 2 brothers as much as she can, since one has called off the engagement and one has been the cause of that action. This is a romance and it was fantastic. I definitely recommend being in a good headspace to go into this because it does have good depression rep, but that is a heavy part of the book. And I really loved Athena and her dynamic with all of the characters in this book. And the romance worked better for me than I thought it was going to. It just absolutely blew me out of the water. I love Olivia Dade's books. I think I've only given one of her books less than 5 stars. They really work for me in terms of pacing and the characters and the way she builds her casts of characters, because I really love a good set of background characters in a romance, and this had that. So this just overall worked really well. Plus it was dual point of view, which is always gonna work for me, and I just really loved this. So I definitely gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was exactly what I needed at the time I read it, because I had been reading a lot of heavier fantasy, and this just really gave me the kick to keep reading and kind of just kept me in the reading space. Then the other one that I want to talk about is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is the first book in the Chestnut Springs series, which in this is a Canadian cowboy romance. In this we're following Summer and Rhett. Summer is the daughter of the head of Rhett's PR management team. So Kip is her dad, and Kip runs the agency that Rhett has PR through. But Rhett has made a mistake, several mistakes in fact, and he has put his image and his sponsorships in jeopardy through his actions. So Summer is his babysitter, basically. She is following him around. Even though he's an adult, she's trying to make sure he doesn't do anything else to jeopardize his standing with his sponsors. And sparks fly from there. I had a good time reading this story. I really loved Summer, and I really loved that cast of characters. Again, like I mentioned, the background characters, Rhett's family, even some of the people that Summer's family grew on me a bit. Not others, but certain people in her family grew on me after the course of this book. And I had a good time reading it. However, there were a few things in the writing style that just weren't for me. And Rhett never completely won me over at certain times. There were specific things, like when he didn't respect Summer's boundaries, when he did at some times, but there were other points where he pushed right through them and just, wanted his way, and that bothered me a little bit. So there were certain things that I really liked about Rhett, but there were certain things that I didn't, and his kind of respect around Summer was one of them that didn't work specifically well for me. But there were just overall a few things that I didn't love about him. But overall, I did like the pacing of the book, the main female character, like I said, that background cast of characters that we are going to get more of as male leads, because we switch, we're going to follow a different male and female couple throughout this series. So I'm interested to see what the next one is, so I will be continuing. I did give this a 3.25. All right, everybody, that is it for the May reset. I hope that it doesn't seem as chaotic on your side as it did on mine, but let me know if you like this kind of video, if you'd like to see more like this and see if I can figure out what a May reset is on this channel at some point. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me again, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.